Good afternoon, traders. This is it's about 15, 20 minutes shy of the bell on the 7th of April, Wednesday. I mean, this market is just wound so tight with a strong emphasis to the upside. But even within this tight range, there's been opportunities because the market is kind of telegraphing what it can and cannot do. And right now, for what has been most of the week, is the resistance at 74 and the support from 60 to 58. In fact, it's almost comical that they haven't been able to even get to or through those levels. And usually, when you're in a bull trend, extreme, ideally they sometimes just don't. They fall short of those targets. And I'm going to briefly show you how this day played out. In the morning, we made the turn in that low, and I can't begin to tell you how often I've seen this happen, where you get this hard push down or up, depending on what the market's doing at the time, right into the low. I mean, that was kind of a gimme. My patience and my strategies in terms of my game plan, I like to see it come through the price and reverse. It doesn't really get much better than this, and it is what it is. I miss out on that opportunity because of that. Because at the end of the day, it's discretionary, and it tapped it, and my bids were underneath, went red to blue, and this was minutes before the bell. Right here would have been your next opportunity to get that lower pivot high based off of this platform, and then price just takes off, and it made its way to the pivot, and it chopped around, and it gave you another opportunity for the trend trader to take it back a little higher. I mean, ideally, when you get a move like this, and they topped out at the pivot, which was actually a pivot reversal, but this is before the bell. So, unless you're up at 6 in the morning, what are you going to do? And, you ideally they would, the movements, the strong movements are usually 10 handles. This actually probably did make 10 handles and made a high of 68 at a low of 58. What are you going to do? It falls short of its objective, or at least in terms of what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, the tight range is still telling you what it is, what it is. You know, the support is a support, and you're in a bull market, and you should take advantage of those reversals. I did it. All these blue boxes on this chart were opportunities. I did not take that. I don't like chasing price. I didn't like this location, especially after this run up off of 58, because, as usual, I was expecting the double topple reversal. In fact, to be honest with you, I did take this short right here, and I got punched out because I was a little too aggressive, and I should have been paying more attention to what the overall chart was telling me. And usually, within this quick pop platform, which is a really nice platform, this ribbon here, which they call tone, is kind of an indication of obviously the trend. And generally, when it fails, it should confirm. And the fact that it didn't, and the ribbon was still blue, means that odds are it was going higher, and it did, and I just got taken out. This one, what I missed down here, I wasn't going to miss again, and I'll show you this one in more detail. This came up to 73. I want you to take a look at this double top. It's a double top, and the reason I jumped on this and I was aggressive with it, in the same manner that I missed this long, it just fell short. And resistance is resistance, and at the end of the day, we are just continuously struggling to get through this. This market, something's developing here. I just don't know yet. At the end of the day, they're not busting them. They can't get through 55, and they can't get through 75. So until they can confirm a direction, it's an inside trading session, and it's best to manage yourself properly, and don't be greedy. Take what you can get. I trade a little differently. I look for a little more out of my trades. So when I took this short up in here, I was looking at least to the pivot, and ideally, I was hoping it would go all the way to S1, and I kind of stayed in it a long time. And he gave you another short right here later in the afternoon, a little before lunch, and then it became a chop fest. And they just couldn't take out S1. They couldn't even get there. And this was a turning point, another double bottom at 58. Once again, the market's telling you that. They've been showing you this low has been holding, and the high has been holding. And all you can do is trade within it, and that's really the best you can do. But there are opportunities even in this tight. God, what's the range? 14 handle range. There were opportunities here right now. This is late in the day. I wouldn't touch this. This market just needs to figure it out on its own. I'm just not chasing anything at this point in the day. But once again, it's just it's just a little extra work on your behalf. Like I said, these are just the market continues, and I've said this in every one of my videos from day one. It's all about patterns, and they repeat these patterns. Highs repeat, lows repeat. Then eventually they break out and they establish new ranges. And at the end of the day, how do you determine a breakout? You'll know it. The commercials are going to come in and they're going to either jump on it one side or the other, and you're just going to know. Right now, they're controlling this range, and for the most part, if you really take a closer look, you can see that. And I think this is also a little helpful hint. And I don't know, I saw the commercials come in off that double top. I also saw the Dow double top at the same time, and I like to use the Dow as a gauge or a reference. It's helpful because they do move together well, and their ranges are relatively tight, which they're very supportive. The Nasdaq as well, but the Nasdaq's much thinner, and it'll have a tendency to bounce around a lot more in a different direction than where you might be going. So best to kind of hold off on that. But at the end of the day, the three confirm really is really helpful to whatever side of the market that you are executing on. So that was pretty much today's session, and we're coming into the fourth day this week. What are we going to do? And the emphasis is still really high, is really strong to the upside. And until we take out 55, I just don't see us going lower until we blow through that. But the same token, you got to respect 75 until they breach it and they blow through it with strength. And it just seems every time we come up here, they can't find buyers. And every time we get down here, they can't find sellers because nobody wants to take the first move. So I prefer to let the commercials make that choice. Otherwise I'm just going to continue to do what I do, and I emphasize in part of my analysis is you fade the extreme weaknesses, whether it's being short at the highs or looking for the longs at the extreme lows, and everything was set up to kind of blow through. That's what amazed me that they didn't. So at the end of the day, you can only take what they give you, and leave the opinions at the wayside. I tend to be a little more opinionated than most, but it's not really do as I say or do as I do. But you know what? You have to make your own. You got to make your own discretionary decision when it comes to executing. But at the end of the day, the area is still. The pivot is the only area that price really related to today, and fairly good throughout the week. I think the pivot was lower during the week. I don't want to really scroll too much; it's too time consuming. And here the pivot was at 60, and it held. And it's been holding all week. And it's been like, so at the end of the day, you can look for the possibility of reversal at that area as it is 75. But, you don't want to get caught by a runaway train, and be careful. Look, this is a late day. Wouldn't be shocked. What time is it? It's probably, well, we're about to go to 3 o'clock. I wouldn't. This is a tap of the pivot. At the end of the day, even these little inside days confirm what I'm trying to share with you guys is that these areas in the market are very strategic and beneficial, and you should take advantage of them. On top of the fact that the pivot sitting at 66 or so, take a look at your 15-minute chart, and that's where your moving averages are. And just take a look at how prices reacted towards it. Above it, it raced, it challenged it, it rolled over, then we fought it, and then we got above it, and we came back down to it. So it's bouncing around, but it's still very informative. And you know what? Take advantage of this information and incorporate it into your trading style. I really think it's going to benefit you. So this is Thursday, the 7th of April. My name is Mike Rabinowitz. This is MR Strategies. And, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, enjoy the analysis and, you know what, provide an opinion, good or bad. I'm okay with it. I think at the end of the day, if you stick with the program, you're going to see the success behind your trade. That's all. Don't take my word for it. I keep bringing these analysis to you guys on it. I'm getting a little better at my presentations. At the end of the day, it's what you get out of it. Either as a regular trader who has done this before, and or a new trader who's looking for an opportunity to make a little money on the side. There's plenty of it. And these strategies will play in pretty much on all markets. Whether you're trading stock, uh, bonds, it doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, price is going to react to the moving averages and to the daily pivots, whatever they may be for whatever market that you are trading. I enjoy trading the ES or the Dow or the Nasdaq. I think they roll well together, and that's just my bread and butter. And you can just see this is just a late day run up. I'd be amazed if they. I don't even know if there's enough time in the day for them to get up to 75, but they could just mark it up and get there. And then we'll have to see how this plays out tomorrow and for the rest of the week. The fact that we have not even got any type of downward consolidation just amazes me. But it's just at the end of the day, it's an extreme bull trend, and it's just making higher highs, and it's not even coming down to reasonable support levels or the extreme support levels. They're just staying within their trading range and just moving about their business. So anyway, hope you guys did well today. Like I said, tight ranges, still opportunities, so make the most of it. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll try and check with you. I'm losing my voice. I'll check in with you guys tomorrow.